See, what you see at Enterprise majority of the time, you see basically the major cars getting used majority of the time. So it's basically not a good resolution for the particular item to be chosen majority of the time. So basically, what we do as a higher enterprise, we make sure that the compact cars or the smaller cars or the less valuable cars get a better answer or a better grade or a better experience from another perspective of enterprise. So that's basically where you're working on Versa, Altima, and Impala, and you're using it on the same level as you would a better grade of car, and you better the performance of the upkeep and of the experiences and of the status quo of the item, as it's still a part of the enterprise stock market, and it makes more accomplishment towards its primary goals, and that's basically where you succeed as far as going towards company policies, and that's about as far as a co-manager would go at that point. So um, that's basically all the semester details that you need for a co-manager, and to be able to manage 450 cars, and maxing out your maxability of how much you would want to prefer to use the car, of its serial number, of its compound, of its units, A80. So that's just using a whole nother lat in a whole nother way of automotive support in a way. And that's basically another part of pmc2² that gets a part of the mental membrane of DWL's industries. So that basically helps you guide onto local. It helps you hold on to a more local um, advertisement, and it's basically where you keeping it more sustained to be more of a rental car agency instead of more of a fashion show, and more of a you don't really like to be in a fashion show if it's a rental car place, and that's basically what I transformed it to be myself. And it's basically how it started. I wanted that Challenger to be there as well. I wanted that Chrysler 300 to be there, and I wanted that Charger to be there. But you want to get, thanks to my categories of transportation, it just don't work out that well. I know there's very much more men out there, men and women that know how to secure that Charger and Challenger in their way, and if not, I'll be there in 370 seconds to be able to manufacture it to where it's a certain majority vote of an enterprise selection. And that's basically where you want to endorse the fact, and make it more prominent of its economy. And that's basically where you want to add a square equilibrium to the facts, and add more than three, more than six, more than one, but more like 366 different methods. And as you're looking at that, you see different equations, different factors. You add different factors together, and it's all simple because it's all on a $2,000 budget. So you already in for a $36,000 fee, a $36,000 fee that's already paid, and it's already trans taxed. So it goes both ways as if you can pay yourself for it, or you can pay that company for it. It's all your money. You can figure out what you want to do with your money. And that's basically where you just got to be more attentive to where that money goes, and how many shares do you have with that money. And that's basically where you're practicing your trans tax and your reduced tax. And that's basically where you're doing that, as far as after you go eat a burger, or after you go eat a burger and fry, you have money left over from the money that was change that you gotten change. And that's basically reduced tax right there. That's not just trans tax, but it's reduced tax. You gave the worker trans tax, which is wholesale for the product. So now you get reduced tax, which is moderate prices for the change that you got back for your wholesale, of the wholesale price that you gave for the wholesale product, 80. So that would just give you money back for buying the product wholesale, 80. So instead of it being $10, you paid $20. So if the product was 13, 15, you would have got change back. And when you got change back, it would have been like $5, $7 and some change, 80. So that's basically where you have to describe and elaborate the point, and make a good gesture of how you want to spend your money, and how you want to use your reduced tax on different trans tax individuals. But in my grade, that's only for co-management. That is a whole service commission itself. Me myself, I'm a lower cabin in the commission administration. So I speak to about 361 population instead of 691 people. So it might not look like it's the same thing, but it's particularly the same thing. My portion makes 36,998,000 a month. So that's basically where you're getting a whole lot of Versa and Ultima and Impala, which is the Versa makes it 36,644 a month. And it's basically where you're promenading the whole advisory of advertisements. And there's basically that's basically why Versa is one of the best of its chapters, just because it's more efficient for its economy. And it could be more for boxing, or it could be for corporate work, or you just want to look at the fuel economies of the state, and travel on the fuel economy world. You basically just base your life off of different traits of the beginnings of 2010. And you just got to base your platforms and objectives off of a point from a subject. And basically mines are basically pretty much based off of Monsters Inc. or Incredibles. And that's basically where you have to have an intermediate start, and that's just producing the Nissan Z as an emblem towards newer urbanized production, towards enterprise. And that's just the point of my job as a driver. I'm not supposed to be worried about the engine, or what goes in the engine, or what the headlights and stuff like that, and the speedometer. I'm not supposed to be worried about stuff like that. But when the tire goes low, I'm supposed to go and notify the mechanic, and he'll pump it up for you. And either he'll do it right then and there, or you just put it in line, and it eventually get to it 3 days later, within 3 days or such. Um, that's already $324 of trans tax going towards everybody's bill. So you already got that bill paid 99 times. So what you do with the trans tax of that bid, that's basically a subdivision right there that I own myself. That particularly I watch on the 324-month advisory. And that's basically where it's been so far. If that's basically 30 months of its verification, and that's basically a legitimate process. As you got cars on the roof and you moving cars to get cleaned, and you're making sure that you got insurance for everything that you have in the vehicle, and you have a navigation system just in case some may want it. And that's basically where you're getting more to the point of where what really matters. And it's basically how we work out different instances. And that's basically it about enterprise. You just got to focus on what matters the most, and then that's just my jurisdiction of my department. And as we work on our $36,564, that's basically the propositions that we work as to earning more towards our accident forgiveness. And that's basically where it goes as far as the insurance policy. And that's basically where we want to use that, just in case we damage or misuse our products accidentally. um, and as long as I make more money than the accidents that I made like 5 or 6 accidents. And that was about that added up to about 36,000, or not 36,000 but 3,600. And that was just a part. And you can get that replaced, and you're able to pay the price for it. And it's a big extreme price. It'd be about $450 prices for a part. And that's basically where you have to establish a new law for it and get it more affiliated with experienced drivers. And that's basically how you maintain a positive environment uh, with your thousands and your 600s, 80. And just a start, that's a good start. 600 is a good start, a good place to start when you're on your career, and when you just started your career. And 600 is a good method to use when you want to start your career and get to your next paycheck in the next 2 weeks. And be able to use that for consumption and for health wise issues. And it's basically where you start a certain capacity. And that works is just as good as a bonus at 80. So that's what it does. So basically what we're doing today is basically working on Nebraska football. And we're looking at the films and the scenes of Nebraska football, the 351 first downs, or the 12 touchdown innings. And that's basically where you're working on the game or the season. And you're looking on the roster of the whole schedules on the game chart, and you go into the fields and you're looking at the game the game scenes on the field, and you basically looking at the actual virtual world of particular these particular players. And that's basically where we want to get started as we benefit them and show them greater establishments of the essence. Establishments show up just because of representation or recommendation, and that's what we want to increase or indefinite in these series. And this is just a counter from 1994 to 2038, and these are basically where we're working on different campsites, different tailgates. You're working on different co-assignments that are like advertisements, and there's a very big deal to the insurance policies, and that's basically where we want to gain the most in curiosity effects in insurance policies, so we can answer our questions that answer 380 questions a bid. And that's basically where you want to figure out your 1937 to 2008 benefits as purple, green, and orange. And it's basically where you start a better combination of purple, orange, and green benefits. And the color for that is just to remain steady, and keep caution of yourself. It is heavy trucks out there, so that's basically where what's been alerting you over the last 334 months is a lot more trucks than ever. It's more trucks than ever these years of the season. So you see that everywhere in Atlanta, in Tennessee, and in Boston. You see trucks everywhere. So that's basically where you're seeing a whole bunch of truck stops when you go travel the country. And it's still its third grade level. You're using your $30-$90 $30-$90 to feed the cows, and making sure you got a bigger imprint of how you purple, green, and orange, Chime and Spotify's essential qualifications. And with that, you just seeing, if you're looking at Ergo Herb or PMC, basically you seeing if you're in a group or you're in an assignment already, and that's already sponsored by Sears, Kroger's, and a lot more other companies as well. And it's just if you work with them, and they share their service with them, making sure we all have something to consume on in the weakest hours that we have of our careers. And that's basically, that could happen any day, knowing that we get sleepy majority of the time. So Ergo Herb was a good program to exceed for, as we all have our own category of how Ergo Herb works, since it's more than 357 states wide. And there's basically a state of its own architecture. So it's not just one team of a fantasy. It's not just Cardinals. It's not just Seahawks. It's not just Green Bay. You can be using any fantasy team that you require. That's more of a team compound of your local group that you sponsor presently. And that's basically what you feel is your best hand of nature at the time. And that's basically where you want to use your AT4 analysis, and be able to get AT4s on it. That's about 444 AT4s worth of AT4s on the $84,000 range. And it's basically where you're getting more of a quantity for your compound. And it's basically where you're paying for the majority of the population, since you can gain a population so fast, and that's where you get an ergo herb coming from, and that's where that 3x times 3x comes from, as you getting three people to three cars, and you're able to get that calculated by three. And it's basically how they help each other on the multiplication chart. They do that 3 times, they do that 9 times, they do it 18 times, and that's basically jumping up from least common factors to greatest common factors. And that's just basically part of the functions of the equations as they grow up to 10th to 12th grade and to sophomore year in college, and on to doctoral years in college. And it's basically where you're working on a huger generation of chemical ingenuity, and more of mechanical engineering. And you're working in your fonts. And this basically goes to SHSU though. So we're working with a little bit of Nebraska football at SHSU, and we're able to get a characteristic of that versus Oklahoma State and Ohio State and Oklahoma. Well, we got Oklahoma, and we just putting more college bound processing into the fact. And whatever it means, that's basically what it predominates in. And it's basically because every noun has a meaning. And it's basically where you're using football, so you're using a sport. Somebody's thinking of a sport at the time when you say football. So that's basically where you're getting the combinations of contributions coming from when you're making subjectives like that. And it's basically where you're getting 29,000, 39,000, 89,000, and you're getting that all in trans tax, while you're able to spend $891 a month. And it's basically where you're getting rice gumbo, and you're getting like 361 different cups of it. So it's an unlimited brand for a limited amount of time. And it's basically where you're making more economy for yourself. And you just got to know what it is in my strategic matter. And that's basically where you're using common mysteries and scenarios and theories to make a accommodated mystery hunt for trivia. And it's basically where you're working on how you're going to eat your next meal at Mr. Catfish and More. And it's basically where you're going towards my encounter. You're getting like 337 catfish for $550. So you just got to make sure you're putting out a wholesale price for a wholesale group compound, so you're not getting no moisty seaweed. And you don't want no negative thought just because Jim Crow is here, and this goes every way in the world. That's basically where the whole tyranny meets at one point. And that's a local state, just because food is a normal precaution. So you got to be prepared and be precaution as well as any other consumer or passenger or civilian out here. And that's the point. That's 2506. That's 1925 to 2006. We're hoping everybody's expecting to be knowing that by 2004 or 2015, and getting a good gist of a whole newer subjective of how to understand the life supports of recreation, and versus filling a simple job for yourself. And that could be a simple 37.47. It could be a dime, or it can be a $10 bill. But it don't really mean nothing at that point in time, since you already collected 331 331 answers that completed optical, the opposite. You already progressed that area. So, that's basically where that goes. So you already 370% greatly processed, and that's basically where you understanding the life and liberty of other oppositions that go other ways and handle their business, and use their mechanical sciences their way. And that's basically where you're using other parts of free enterprise, which is a community economy of a sort. And it's basically, it just depends on what community you're in, that shows where you're at in your state. And that state is a hard thing to get out of when you're talking about $944.34. So you're not just talking about $30.86. You're talking about leaving 500, the whole 100, and being able to get on past $644. And that's basically your midpoints of distance and diameters. So yeah, that's just more on pmc2 squared and pmc2 squared and Nebraska football. And pmc2 squared is more like the average day natural conversation. So you just having a normal conversation, and you just giving more nutritionist facts about positive language and positive effects that occur in your daily commutes. And it works just like a financial solution or a counsel or a consultant aiding, and it just consults better privilege applications and applications. It consumes better applications, better advertisements, and better documents to register documents and make better privilege of the majoritized ideas being capacitated at the hour, and using it for a multi-paid analysis as a subscription or a co-advertisement to be used at a co-advertised level. Like, you can use Vivo, so instead of using Spotify, you can use Vivo. So that'll be another subscription you can use that'll make a greater ergo benefit to making your point or describing your point, and understanding what about it makes a complete answer. So with that being said, from you multiplying 444 times 444 on pmc2 squared, you probably can make about $39,494. You doing that times 4, times 3, times 8, times 6 times, and that's basically where you're coming out with 39,494 majority of the time. So that's basically where you add that, and you're able to purchase your vehicle on $990 and you see that pays for that as well, 80. So that's basically where that whole instance is very, very much paying for that. So it's paid for on a quarter rate. And it's basically a whole compound being gone. That's like 33 gallons being gone. And that's basically where you paying for the whole prophecy, as you paying for the trans tax of 33 years more of the processing. So they're basically getting paid their $39,494 in money and in food at the same time, just because it's a probable cause for cause and effect. And it's basically where we're working on 94 to 84, 1994 to 2084. And it's basically working on world history, of world cultures, of social studies and language arts, and more of more of biology. It's basically going language arts versus biology at my time of perfection, or perception. And that's basically where we're using time clocks of pmc2² to make a estimated data analysis. And that's basically where 8890 is born. That's basically where how you do 1988 to 2091. And it's basically TransUnion, MoneyGram. That's just other functions of factors being used at the time. And it's basically how you're able to make 39,400 and $494 off of just systematic data being developed. And how you get that, you're just working with the dime rating. And that's basically where you're working on $377 in dimes, not just $37, not just $87, but $377 in dimes. And that's basically where you're using bigger conclusions of not just 50 dimes but 500 dimes. And it's basically where you have to use the if then statement. And you have to use it 3x plus 3, and you're able to use a certain function so you can find out a certain method of how to keep using the same method that you're using. And that's just having faith and spirit to propel for performance. That's basically Cedric working 3610 hours 13 times since 2006. And that's basically where you're working on a better hour sheet for yourself. That privilege that you have, or that all that money turns into hours. And that just units that you bulk up as far as what money you can take out the restaurant. And it's basically known as a bill statement. So he probably has 19 bill statements just based off of what I just said earlier. um you know um so if you use that, that's basically how you start a bill statement, and inform your way of impassionate sources of income. And that's basically working on Nebraska's new stratified status quo of pmc2². And that's basically what you do when you play with that company, and you just enhance and elaborate your common sense and your methods. And mine create common sense because it contributes with multiple platforms of refrigerators, microwaves, ovens, and sinks. And more of the Home Depot, more of the Sears, more of the Sam's areas of life. And that's been here for 67 years, and from 1947 to 2008. That was part of the Central Food Bank area. You can see me in the Natural Food Bank at that time. That was when I was working with Pickle Elementary, and working with their trilogies of documentaries. And we was working on different economies at that time. Everybody's working on a different career or a different occupation at that time. And everybody's just going their own way. And that's good. Make sure you're entertaining yourself and giving yourself a prominent advertisement that you stand for, and that you can remember from lifetime to lifetime. And that's basically you got to learn how to clean, so you got to be able to use that Swiffer commercial as a good analysis as well when you function at a good good rate of a Swisher, a Swiffer position A80. And this is just doing mathematics, so you're working on biology and mathematics at the same time. So you're finding congruent space area spaces, and being able to make coordinates within those congruent spaces. And some of it is in Wimberley, some of it is in Waco, some of it is in Dallas. And we based off some of that stuff is particularly in Austin as well, as it was born and raised, and basically gave a good affection of its presence, 80.